Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for popping in. Today we're discussing social media. I'm going to give everyone some time to pop in if people are online. I know that it's anywhere from lunchtime to early afternoon, or late afternoon, early evening for you. So I just want to thank you for watching the playback later. If you have any questions about what we're talking about today, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. I would absolutely love to interact with you more on this topic. And I'm always looking for ways to add tools to my social media use that will help me as an entrepreneur and as an empath to just have better boundaries, because my business is on social media. I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like I'm on here all the time. So with that, let's dive in. My social media usage used to include, I used to have Twitter, Snapchat, WhatsApp, 2 Instagram accounts, technically 3 for a hot minute while I was in university and had a poetry account. I had 2 Facebook accounts, one that I played games on and one that was just my Facebook, plus a Facebook page. I had WordPress. I had a blog. I had Pinterest. I had LinkedIn. I'm forgetting something, but I had more than 15 social media accounts or services like apps. And then I had multiple accounts in each app for different reasons. And Twitter is a toxic wasteland, so I left that place. A lot of people have opinions about why I left, but I left because I was unhappy and angry and anxious every time I went on there. If I want to know the news, I'll go look it up. Twitter is mostly just people yelling at each other all the time, and whoever yells loudest wins. So I'm not on there anymore. Facebook is very quickly turning into the same place, and if I didn't need it for my business, I would not have it. So there's that. Social media has come to fruition and of age in my lifetime. I had MSN Messenger back in the day. Those were the days. I didn't have a MySpace because I didn't have reliable internet, but a lot of my friends had MySpace. I used Netscape as an internet browser. All of my millennials know what I'm talking about. And it's like a little globe with an N on it, and it took forever, and it would make weird fax machine noise whenever you connected to the internet. We used to pay $1 per half hour to check our email, and most of that time was spent connecting and then disconnecting. And you might have seen if one of your friends was online. Nobody had cell phones at the time. The iPhone hadn't been invented yet. So I've done the full gamut from there not being any internet or social media in anyone's house to everyone having it within 5 years. And everyone having a phone in their pocket and nobody having any boundaries because it was new and it was shiny and you could be connected to anything and everything at any minute of any day at any time. And it was exciting, and it gave you a dopamine hit and an adrenaline rush when people would like and comment and stuff. And it's come a long way, but it's also brought with it more noise and more anxiety. So with that, I don't want to take a long time to talk about social media. I could talk about social media for hours and hours and hours. And if it is a place that you have angst around and you need help carving out boundaries, like you need some one-on-one time, let's chat about that, because I would love to do like a small group coaching session on social media usage and how it affects our energy and our relationships. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know, and I would love to get that going for up to about 10 people, because I don't want it to be too crazy crammed. Maybe I'll run it like over the course of 3 days or something. So how much time do you spend on social media a day? It looks like I spend 8 to 10 hours of social media on it in a day, but I promise that I don't. I actually spend, if we're being really honest, because I've done this thing, which you can do, which we'll talk about later, I spend 3 to 4 hours a day on social media, like collectively, like all together. Like if you add up every time I check my social media and respond to a comment, I won't say every time it's open because sometimes I just have my laptop open. And that's the other thing. Like I don't have my phone on me all the time, but I have my laptop open and like waiting for a message. But the time that I'm actually actively engaging and using my social media outside of client calls is about 3 to 4 hours a day, Monday to Friday. That's it. One whole hour of that each day is live streams where I'm teaching or sharing or joking or doing tarot readings or whatever, where I'm adding value to a global community. 3 hours of that is liking, sharing, responding, creating, checking my notifications, removing people that don't need to be in my space, auditing my friends list, auditing my groups that I'm in that are no longer serving me anymore. And that's really important because it's who are you giving your energy to? If you have added a group or joined a group that you've totally forgotten about, but the notifications still show up and it still shows up in your feed, and every time it shows up in your feed, you feel tired or you scroll past it or whatever, then it's not adding quality to your life. So who are you giving your energy to? Who's popping up in your feed? What are you interacting with the most? If you hover on something for longer than a scroll, Facebook determines that you want to see more of that, and they will send you more of anything remotely related. So if you find that your Facebook and your Instagram are showing you a lot of content that you don't like, you actually have the opportunity to hide it and say, don't show me content like this. And that is like a really important skill to learn. Are you giving energy to the trolls in the comments? Do you read the comments on news posts for anything other than laughter? Do you feel the need to respond to headlines that are designed to create an emotional response in you so that it boosts their algorithm and more people see it? Like the headings that they make are designed to cause a reaction so that you will put in your energy and share the article or comment, and it'll pop up in someone's newsfeed that you commented on it, and the whole cycle starts again. And it's like a friggin' disaster. How many times a day in your newsfeed, specifically on Facebook, do you read troubling comments or headlines? Do you read something sad, something violent, a picture you can't unsee, an opinion you can't unhear? Do you hear about trauma, about damage, about murder, about abuse, about homophobia, about crisis, about like all this stuff all of the time? I want to enable you to turn your social media into what it was designed to be, which is a social space. Which means that the people that you follow, the things that you absorb are to bring your life up. This might mean a friend audit, a group audit, a page audit, where you go through and you adjust the notifications that you get. You can hide people from your news feed. You can unfollow people without unfriending them so that you can go and check on them when you think of them if they're posting content that is constantly triggering to you. Take back your power, and instead of passively receiving information, actively decide what you want to see and what will be in your space and in your life and what you give energy to. I now check the news. I hide news stories for the most part from my newsfeed. And I don't follow certain accounts on Instagram at all. Anything that's going to be making me feel less than my 100% amazing self, I don't follow. Anything that's going to be like super hyper political, that space, my Instagram space, is for business, for healing, and for positivity. And I don't mean toxic positivity, because I still share about things that are important to me and causes that are important to me. But you don't have to give your energy to everyone all of the time. When we talk about social media and sustainability, there's options for settings. Do you have your DMs open? Can anyone and everyone send you a message? Is your account private or public? Can anyone or everyone find you? Do you find yourself avoiding or gravitating towards a specific platform more than the other one? If something doesn't bring you joy, are you okay with deleting it? I deleted Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, WordPress. I don't use it anymore, but it's still out in the internet because I have a lot of valuable content on there, but I don't find it's worth my energy at this point, so I don't add any more to it. I had my second Facebook page. I deleted that. All of these things that were like work. Tumblr. I have a Tumblr, but I haven't touched it in a long time because I can't figure out how to delete it, mostly. But like, there's things that weren't bringing me joy. Every time I would look at them, I'd be anxious or irritable or grumpy or feel like I needed to defend my opinion or my existence. I was constantly triggered. I was constantly upset. I was constantly feeling less than, like I wasn't doing enough, like I wasn't saying enough, like I wasn't angry enough, like I wasn't outraged enough. Like I was a shitty human being because I was tired of seeing all of these headlines and all of these fights. And it's more than okay for you to protect yourself first. You're not insulating yourself with your privilege if you're at capacity with your mental health and you need to like dial back. The worst gaslighting that has ever come from for me in my entire life has been from people on social media in the social justice and humanitarian sectors. When you start to make hard, fast boundaries around what kind of content you will allow to bleed into your personal life, people start to have opinions. And guess what? They don't get to. You are the only person who can live your life, and that includes on screen and off. My challenge to you this week is to do a screen time audit. There are so many apps that can do it for you. If you have an iPhone, I believe it already has a setting in it. You can set a screen time budget where you can only be on your phone for so many hours, minutes, whatever, per day or per week or whatever. And it won't, like, you have to go through a lot of steps to override that. I want to help you build healthy, sustainable habits so that you have the energy and the passion and the creativity and the courage to be who you want to be and do what you want to do and show up fearless, energetic, and excited to engage with life. And in order to do that, you need to audit your time and your energy and set clear boundaries. Your boundaries don't have to be audible for everyone else, but they have to be clear to you. So I kind of have, like, with people that I love and we don't agree on things that aren't non-negotiables, I'll just snooze them for 30 days until that situation is over. You know what I mean? If someone says something that actually reveals that they're not a safe person for me, I just quietly unfriend them because they're not my friend if they ascribe to beliefs that are harmful to me. They might esteem me, but they don't actually care. You know what I mean? One of the most empowering things has been, Olivia hardly ever goes on social media. So when we leave the house, we leave my phones at home and we just bring her phone. So I'll go 3, 4, 5, 6 hours without checking my phone at all and be totally fine and not worried, because I've created this boundary where I'm not available just because other people think I should be. My business is on social media and I have business hours, with the exception of when I do an evening live or I have an evening client. My business hours are between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's it. And it's not even full on Monday to Friday. I only book 3 days of work and then some chunks in the morning. That's it. That's all I have space for, because social media itself is so much information and so much interaction and so much energy all of the time that it would be completely unsustainable for me to treat my online career as a 9-to-5 job. I also have light filtering lenses. I have all of my apps set to silent and to blue light filters so that they don't hurt my eyes. I get up, I set timers and I get up and I move around. If you are required to be on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on any of these platforms a lot, it's time to like set intention behind your action. So when I get up in the morning, mornings are for my live check-ins. They're for content creation and they're for making and engaging with new followers. So I'll go to people's accounts and I'll like their stuff and I'll comment and I'll discover and I'll find people who light me up and I want to have in my space, and people who make me curious about what they do and who they are and where they're from, people I would be friends with in real life. To my knowledge, there is not a single person on my Instagram account that I wouldn't be friends with in real life. When I find someone that misrepresented themselves or I misinterpreted them as being someone I would interact with in real life, I unfollow them. I remove followers from my account all the time because I don't want that energy in my space. So I want to give you permission to be in charge of your own life in case you don't already know that you are. It is not a value statement on the other person if you don't jive with them. Like if someone rubs you the wrong way and energetically drains you dry, cut that bitch off. Like you don't owe anyone anything ever at all. Okay? If your sanity is being affected by the garbage that someone is posting on social media, unfriend them. Facebook isn't real life. Instagram isn't real life. It is a tool in life that we use. Unfriending someone on social media, unfollowing someone on social media, blocking someone on social media doesn't mean you don't value their humanity. It means that you value your peace and your sanity and your emotional and energetic safety. So, who are you giving your energy to? What are you using social media for? Is it a distraction? Is it a tool? Is it for actual socialization? Is it just for a drama fix? Because I promise you, you can get a drama fix on Netflix with way less toxicity, and then it ends after a while. It's not like this ongoing thing. I want to enable you to just like unfollow newspapers, okay? You don't have to, but why are you following newspapers? When has a story recently, other than upset you because it's the same thing that never changes, when has a news story that you've read recently actually radically added value to your life at all? Like for me, I always hear everyone talking about it anyway. If it's of value, someone's going to share it on their wall. If it's something I need to know, someone in my social circle, my real life friend group, is going to share the story and they're going to comment on it. And then I can have an actual conversation with a human being instead of a bunch of opinionated Facebook trolls. You know what I mean? So the amount of peace that I got from leaving volatile us and them spaces, huge. I primarily use Facebook for groups. I primarily use Instagram for community and for business. I barely use Pinterest at all anymore because I don't have time for that. And that's it. Those are the only 2 social media apps I have. And all of my YouTube content is literally my Facebook content. It's the same thing. I've been discovered. If you have questions about social media, like usage and boundaries and what's like, you need an audit of what's sucking your energy, let me know. I would absolutely love to talk to you about that. Also, join us tomorrow on Instagram for Fitness Friday if you're into that sort of thing. I'm going to be talking about why I chose coaching. Spoiler alert, it chose me. What? Thank you so much for being here today. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I can talk more about for you. And I hope you have a really, really, really great weekend, because today is my last full work day and I'm taking the next 3 days to just chill out, because it's been a full, wonderful, glorious week filled with a lot of new beginnings and a lot of promise. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Bye for now.